Hi, David Odell here with OdellCompleteConcrete. Today we're just going to build a simple gate made of wood. And I've got, what do I have here? I have cedar. These are 6-inch wide, dog-eared 1x6s, and those are cedar. And then for my bracing, I'm using redwood 2x4s. So it looks like I got a 4-foot opening, so I think I've got 9 1x6 cedars, dog-eared. And then I got about 5 2x4 redwood. Now, also there's a video of the block wall that you see there, of us building the block wall. That's a 2-part series, but this gate build is just a gate build only. So there was some lag bolts sticking out of the corner of the house, and then on the corner of the house you always have your king studs, double 2x4s, maybe even 3, or you may even have a 4x4 right there. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of wood in those corners, so it's a good place to attach a gate to. So I left those little bolts sticking out, and I've just put a new 2x4 redwood on here. The old one was buried down in the concrete, and you can see the hole there, and it rotted out. So this one I'm leaving up off the ground a little bit, and then we'll just tighten it against the house. We're going to make sure that those are plumb, even though the house may not be. And our both sides, we're going to attach redwoods to each side, to the block wall side and the house side, and both of them will be plumb. That way when the gate swings closed, it'll hit nice and flush from top to bottom. And we're going to make this gate swing in, just like the original gate that was on here that you'll see if you watch the block wall build series. You'll see the original gate in that, and the initial job walkthrough. This was all wood here before we tore down and put a block wall up. This is a really simple way to build a wood fence. Seems like every time I build a gate, I build it differently though, because there's so many ways you can build these. There's not a lot of weight on this gate because I'm only putting the cedar 1x6s on one side. Now if I had them on both sides, you would probably want to put this 45-degree bracing at the bottom hinge, but I put it at the top hinge. We're not dealing with a lot of weight here anyway. And the redwood that I found, and I was really lucky, it had been cured out really well, so it was really light and it was already dry. Here's the hinges that I got. I got all this stuff at Home Depot. It was a latch kit with hinges. So that's going to be the inside. When I built this little box here, I allowed about a 1/2-inch space on both sides. So this actual frame is about 1 inch shorter than the actual opening. You need a little space to swing in and out without getting hung up. All the screws I'm using are deckmate screws, so they're designed not to rust. And they're specifically designed for wood and exterior use. The screws I use are all star heads, really easy to drive in, or torque heads. Here's the screws here that I've used. I have 1.5-inchers for the 1x6s, and then I also have some 3-inchers that I used for the frame itself. Now if you were doing a long wood fence, you'd hang your first pickets on either end and then pull a string line all the way across, and then you get them, you know, all flush on the top. But we have a short run here, so we don't really need to put a string line across. We're just going to use a 4-foot level. So I'm going to start with this first picket flush with the top of block wall. And you notice how I set the frame in so everything's flush. The outside of the wood gate and the block wall and the house all flushed out. So it fits in there real nice. So I actually have that frame on there and swinging before I even put the pickets on. Well, that 2x4 redwood on the house side is a little long. I'm going to cut that off when I get all done here. Now I had to make a couple custom cuts on my pickets because the house wasn't perfectly plumb on the corner. It was on an angle because of the stucco, the way the stucco was done. A lot of times it gets thicker at the bottom. It's kind of typical for when you're doing stucco, that builds up at the bottom when you're applying it. So it wasn't perfectly plumb vertically. So we had to do a little rip so it would come together real nicely here. Then I just faked a dog ear on there. There's the cut. So that 2x4 is not running up the side of the house. And then I cut it on a slight angle so the water would run off the top of that board instead of going into it. So I put the latch side first. That way I can line it up. Now that pencil with the crayon in it, the marker, that's actually PEX pipe that we used. We shrunk around the pencil and the crayon. It worked great. So if you're going to build a gate, you want to pick through all your lumber and make sure you get the straightest stuff you can find with the least amount of knots in it and the driest. Because the drier it is, it means it's going to shrink less. So if you put it all together wet, you come back a month later and you'll have spaces in between all of your picket fences because of it was so wet. So you try to find the driest lumber you can get. And I got pretty lucky on this. It's also a lot lighter that way. Here's the sealer we're putting on, and it's a cedar color, and it's a stain, and it seals it at the same time. Also, it's a Bear product. I got that at Home Depot as well. That's the permit card there for that block wall. But I just took a mason twine and threw it over the latch and over the top, and I put a staple loosely fit around the string line. Holds it in place, but allows the string to travel freely. So I got two staples on the top there that I just tacked in lightly so the string can travel freely. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you like these kind of videos, stay tuned because I've got a lot more to roll out. Have a nice day, and if you make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to get notifications, hit the bell and you'll get notified as soon as I upload another video. Thanks, and have a good one.